So meanwhile, we'll try to take the questions. Any questions on this topic? If you don't have any questions, then I want to explain, the same topic for different data. Like I just explained for big data, right? I want to explain it. I want to give you some idea for the how the data pipelining will happen in a cloud, AWS, and how this data pipeline will be happened in machine learning. So I just want to give an overview on that. So before moving to that subject topic, is there any open questions as of now?
Yeah, Naresh, can we have sample project if possible?
Okay, you sample project for stream data processing or which one?
Anything we need to get idea, that's it.
What you want? Like
If
you
it's
want
free,
theoretical knowledge, you want practical knowledge.
practical only.
Then you have to do your own, right? But okay, so how many years of experience you have? Or
No,
your
in big
rotation?
data I don't have. Big data I don't have.
How many tools that you know very well?
I mean, a little bit of knowledge on NiFi I'm having,
Mhm.
and little bit of Pentaho.
Okay, but
These tools I was using actually for connecting of data and all, pulling of
so
data.
you are having how many years experience like in any other system like other than this big data?
No, I don't have much of experience, only 2 years experience.
Okay, but who guided you to learn those whatever the technology that you are seeing?
Now I'm looking for domain change actually.
Then you can join any course or you can take an help from any other. But whatever the truth that you're saying is not sufficient to become a data engineer. Okay, you have to learn many.
No, in the sense like for creation of the pipeline I'm saying.
Pipeline I already discussed, and you can choose any one or two tools from each category, and you have to learn. I can say, if you want to job in big data domain, or if you want to do work in a big data domain, minimum tools are SQL. Everybody should have the knowledge in SQL and any database knowledge like MySQL or Oracle. And coming to data processing, ETL, you can say Talent or Flume or Kafka or Scoop. Uh, these are the we can say data ingestion tools, okay, or retail tools, and you have to have Hive knowledge and big data. I mean, Hive knowledge means Hive with Hadoop, then Spark. Okay, Spark streaming is optional if you are working on a Spark, I mean, real-time project, then streaming project, then you have to have the knowledge on Spark streaming or Storm. But for batch-oriented projects, you may that may not be required. But the concept and hands-on experience in a Spark is very much required. Okay, so and that is one. And data mart. Okay, data mart or data warehousing. Like anyway, you might have the Hive knowledge that is sufficient. And if you have extra knowledge on Snowflake or
Data
Redshift,
lake also.
yeah, data lake is again IBM or I think I didn't have that much knowledge on it, but generally we use cloud to store data on data lake. Okay, okay, and schedulers, you might have the knowledge on these are the optional because some companies developers only know the complete knowledge how to create a schedule and how to schedule a job and all, but some companies we have a separate teams to schedule those jobs. Okay, so if you have a knowledge in any of these, Redwood or Uzi or Airflow is now very popular. Now that is a scheduler, and yeah, these tools like 4 or 5 you should have the mandatory knowledge to crack an interview or to do any real-time projects. Okay, is it clear?
It's clear. Can we go with Kafka
Kafka, see,
streaming?
yeah, of course. If it is a real-time, I mean, streaming project, then people, majority the people will use Kafka. Okay, Kafka will, let us say there is a IoT. From IoT, it's receiving the all the data in the form of messages or topics. Then from the topics, from the Kafka, we can say many downstream applications will consume those data. If it is a real-time project, then definitely the Apache Storm or Spark streaming will be connected to the Kafka cluster. Then it will pull the data and on the go, it will transform it and send it to target system. Okay, that is the flow for streaming applications. All right.
And one thing is for Spark streaming, can you go with the D streams? Or it's outdated?
DStream is a DStream is also again the data frame, okay, but it's continuous flow, right? We are calling as a DStreams. In Kafka we are calling as a topics. Okay, the wording is different, but the functionality is almost whatever. DStreams are nothing but a it's a we can say a flow of RDDs, or we can say flow of data frames. Okay. Because let us say last 10 seconds you want data, it will give you, Kafka will give you in the form of topic, let us say 10 MB for 10 seconds. Okay, that 10 MB data again, what it will do? It will create a data frame. If you are using Spark streaming, it will create a data frame. But it keep on open that window. It won't write immediately. You can say that is our requirement. And what it will do, it will wait for next 10 seconds, and then for 1 minute, 1 minute you want to write the data into target system. That is your target, and that is your requirement. And that time, what it will do, it will get first RDD, okay, and for 10 seconds. And then it will take under 10 seconds to 20 seconds. Again, it will create one more RDD or data frame. Like that, 6 data frames it will create. Okay, and in let us say in a square types. Okay, just assume something like that. Then all this group of this data frames, like 6 data frames, we can call it as a D streams. You got it? So again, I'm just giving an example. Earlier, whatever we discussed, we generally used in in regular projects and without cloud. Okay, in a sense, what may be the data pipeline in AWS? Okay, this is only sample. Okay, for your understanding purpose, I just made this diagram, but it's not a final. Okay, it may give you some overview how it will happen, the same structure in a cloud. And this is the example. Okay. Let us say that here data sources are let us say logs, web logs, or Cassandra is a NoSQL database. MongoDB is also a NoSQL database. Okay, from there we are trying to fetch the data. Okay, and the data we are bringing okay, by using Spark or Amazon EMR, and okay, and then we'll do some analysis, or we'll do some transformation over it, and we'll load into DynamoDB or S3 buckets. Okay, those are Amazon products, and from that data warehousing, Amazon Redshift. Okay, Amazon Redshift is a data warehousing tool in Amazon. So the people may use Amazon Redshift, and again, of course, if there is any requirement for the data visualization, definitely visualization tools will be connected to the Amazon Redshift and will fetch the data. Okay, this is the typical diagram, sample diagram I can see for the AWS data pipeline. Okay, and see, knowledge, this much knowledge you have to have, and the practical anyway. If you have a project, definitely you have to learn these tools, especially Amazon EMR or Spark, and then Amazon Redshift. Is the minimum requirement to execute these type of projects. Okay. So, any questions from this AWS data pipeline?
One question. With Spark, as we could see, structured and unstructured data, by using Spark, right? We can pull in S3.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay, so we learn Spark, then no need to bother about all other stuff, right?
You mean you don't want to learn Kafka?
No. Kafka is also will be done through Spark will run streaming as well, right?
Of course.
So with the help of Kafka, it will be better performance. Or
see, the Spark does not have the storage, that you have to remember. It's a computing engine, right? It's a computing. Okay, whereas Kafka, it's a different architecture and different cluster where it can pull the data, and it will consume, like it will keep, it will store the data in that cluster till the end user consume. So 100% guarantee it will give. Okay, but whereas if when you use Spark streaming, right, in place of Kafka, then where is the guarantee? Like let us say some data is coming every second, one MB is coming. Okay, of course,
Okay.
if 1 MB is consuming by subscriber or client, that is fine. But what will happen? Client is not consuming 1 MB of data every second. Then that data will be lost, right?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
when you use Kafka, it will give a guarantee till you consume. There is some settings. It will store the data till it consumes. Okay, some settings will be there. How many days, something like that. Some settings will be there. Then that many days it will store based on the data availability, storage availability. Okay? So that kind of guarantee it will give. But whereas this is only Spark Streaming is only for processing the data. Okay, we cannot use for storage, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Naresh, I have an query here.
Yeah.
So while building the pipelines, data pipelines, so think about I have the data, everything is an on-premise, and so can we mix this data pipeline along with cloud and the on-premise? Think about like a data ingestion and till processing. I have it in data warehouse like Hive. Then I have to use it somewhere. I have to dump it into a Redshift or anything that could be utilized later for visualization tools. So it can be mixed both while building data pipelines. It should be completely ETL should be always either it should be cloud or on-premise. How it would be managed?
See, the first when we explain, right, the first stage. So whatever you are asking is same, right? Like on-premise data we are processing it, and then final we are loading into let us say Snowflake or Redshift. Okay, the cloud. So that's what you are asking me, right?
Yes, yes.
And
I from on-premise I have let's say I have it in HDFS on-premise. Then I have to process and it and move it to Redshift. Then so that way it's possible, right?
sorry, can you please come again? I didn't listen properly.
No, so you are saying that on-premise and cloud can be mixed, right? On mixed way we can build it the pipeline, right?
Yeah. So let's assume here this one Oracle and SAP. The data is in on-premise only, right? Right?
Okay.
And you are using these tools like Hive or Talent or Spark, and then processing the data.
Mhm.
Finally, you are storing in Hive or in Snowflake, right? What is a Snowflake? Or in S3 also you can do it.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, that means and backend it is a cloud only, correct? So from
Yeah,
on-premise,
yeah.
you are processing your data. Let us say on-premise there is a 100 GB,
Mhm.
okay, per month. Then
Okay.
you process
Mhm.
it, make it as a 10 GB. Then this 10 GB you are storing into
Mhm.
cloud, correct?
Yes, got it.
So guys, if you won't have any questions, just one more topic is
Naresh,
left.
during
Yeah.
ingestion only, we are like mentioning the bucket URL or something so that it will directly move to cloud. Right?
You mean after transformation stage, you want to send it directly to the cloud?
Yes, yes.
See, I will tell you. Presently, we are doing the project like where we are using. I will tell you whatever our source is SAP HANA, okay, and then we will bring the data every day. Some jobs are, let us say 20 jobs are there. Example, okay, example 20 jobs are there. The 20 jobs will run every hour, okay, and that is our jobs. And what it will do, we will take all the data by using Talent. Talent we will use to pull the data from SAP HANA to HDFS. We load all data into HDFS. Okay. And then what we will do, we generally do the data preparation, like we can say data cleansing or data cleaning activities. okay, at data quality. To make the data, to increase the data quality, generally we do some standard checks, right? Duplicates or nulls or incorrupted records. So this kind of data we will checks. This kind of checks we will do by using Hive, and then we'll load into temporary table. Okay, from the temporary table, what we will do, we generally create one more partition table, and then this table, from this temporary table to the partition table, we will load the data. Okay, this temporary table is again, it's a full load. Okay, whenever new data will come, automatically it will refresh. Okay, refresh. So, and whatever the target table I've been talking about, right? Partition table. So let us say hourly basis the data is loading. Okay, then once this last hour is completed, then that hour data from temporary table to partition table will be loaded, and again second hour, whatever the data is already there in the temporary table will be deleted, and then next hour data will become, again the job will run from temporary table to main table, again it will load the second hour. So something like that. But at the end, and I can say in partition table, data is we are loading as an incremental. Okay, that is we are not overriding it, because we are storing all the data, how much data we are receiving per hour. Okay, that kind of we are storing. That is one way. And finally, what we are doing, after 24 hours. Okay, after 24 hours, let us say we are taking the whole files and dividing, and we are using Spark over there, and creating the data frames, and splitting data into 500 MB. Okay, these 500 MB files, we are zipping it and loading into zipping it and placing into some external servers. Okay, from external server like NAS path, we can say NAS path. Okay, from that path, our other team will come. What they will do, they will pick this all the processed files, okay, which are approximately 500 MB, and what they will do, they will load into S3. Okay, but in S3, right, either when they load S3, then they are using Snowflake and creating external stage. You might don't know, but I'm just telling you. Okay, Snowflake will use S3 as a external stage, and on top of there it will create tables and use the S3 as a backend. Okay, finally from Snowflake the data will go to the Tableau. Okay, that's the visualization. So this is completely the flow of the project. Okay. See, I'm just explaining the theoretical way. You might miss something, but yeah, when you do a real-time work, definitely you come to know. Okay. We'll very soon.
So Naresh, when you are
very sorry, next month or in 1 or 2 months, we'll try to do some mini project. We all together will do with the sales script. Because if you know Oozie, then we'll use Oozie and try to utilize. Or if not, then we'll try to utilize shell script and we'll create some jobs, and we'll try to execute it. Okay, so that everybody can aware what exactly the real time how it will happen. Okay, once you do any mini project, then you will have a clear clarity. Okay. Yeah. So let me quickly finish the final topic for today, and if you have any time, then we will take it. So guys, the same way, this is the actual data pipeline for machine learning. Okay, you no need to worry about since we are a big data engineer, so you no need to worry about this topic. But still, if you have a knowledge, then it is gonna do. Okay, so in machine learning, right, the data pipeline may be like this. Okay, data extraction part. Then once they extract the data, then they will do data preparation. Okay, that means they will try to eliminate or the unnecessary data. Then once they get the fair data, then they will split it. Entire data set will, let us say they have a 1 million records. In that 1 million record, they may segregate the data like 20, 50, or 30%. Okay, like 20% data they may use for testing, and 50% or 60% data they may use it for the to train the data, to train the algorithms, and for the rest of the 10 or 20% of the data they may use for the validation purpose. Okay. Now, by using this trained data, let us say 60% of the data they might take in, and they may use, they may train for their models. Okay. And once the model is working properly, they will, what they will do, they will test those model in a test data. Okay. If the test results is given a good output, then they will go and check it. They will validate the data by using this validated data. If the model is not giving the better output, then what they will do again, they will train the model by using other data set. So they will keep on do this process until they get the expected output. Once they got the output, then finally they will do the validation. Even they feel validation is also completed successfully, then they will deploy the model. This is the normal flow in machine learning data pipeline. Okay, so those who are planning for the data scientist or AI or machine learning, then they might have this knowledge. And in general, for the big data engineers, this type of questions may not be asked because you are not belongs to this this category, right? But having a knowledge is a added advantage. Okay. Yeah, that's it, guys. These are the three topics that I wanted to share with you. Then we'll try to discuss a few more minutes till we end up this session. I'm open for any common questions or any questions from these three topics.
Hello, Naresh.
Yeah, first of all, I just request you to everybody who is asking me questions, so please say your name and ask me, because I'm unable to see your name on screen.
Hello, Naresh. It's Murtuza speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said that we're planning a project, a small project in the coming month. But is it possible in next week if possible? Don't feel wrong about it.
The project means I won't do. You people have to do, right? So,
I mean, by your guidance.
That's what I will tell you. We'll take a sample scenario, and then you have to use the tools. Like you have to use MySQL, you have to use Scoop or Flume or Kafka, and you have to use Hive with HDFS. Then you have to use Spark. Then you have to, if you have any knowledge on cloud, then you have to connect to cloud and load all our output to Amazon S3 or any GCP or Azure. So all this you have to do. Okay, this is the flow, and we'll take a sample data sets. Then you have to have the knowledge on complete these tools, right? And shell script. We'll execute all these jobs or programs by using shell script, okay? Or OZ workflow. So yeah. So whoever interested or whoever, first of all, interest, not only interest. To do this mini projects, right? Definitely you should have the knowledge on these topics, whatever I'm discussing. So whoever having good knowledge on these topics, please let us know. Then I will try to guide you what to do, how to do, and how to. We will do small real-time project, a mini project, you can say, in a month or 2 months. Then so that you will get a good clarity, so that you can explain this project as a your project. Because at that once you execute your project right, this project right, then definitely I'm pretty sure that whatever the question that you face in interview, definitely you can able to answer because you did it your own. Okay, and there is no issue at all, and the confidence level will be a bit high because you did it. You are explaining your project, so definitely it will give you more insights. Okay.
So as Naresh, as you said that we need to get the knowledge on all these tools, but can we divide it into sub-modules, like getting the data from the Flume? I mean, the log files will be pulling it from the Flume, then we'll push it into Hive. So in that way, can you do it a small as a module? We'll divide it and we'll do it
Correct. But I'm telling you, actually, I didn't have too much knowledge on streaming part. Streaming part is I haven't done it till now, but I have some theoretical knowledge. But I have a good experience in
It's okay about the batch
batch
data
data.
also.
Okay,
Batch
so
data
that's
also
what I'm
will
telling
use.
you. People won't ask you. You have to have the knowledge on streaming only. No, but if you have a knowledge, it is good. But you have to do
I
either one
mean,
project. Okay.
in the present scenario, they are asking for stream data, Naresh. That's the reason I'm just pulling you towards this side.
No.
Don't feel
Let me
wrong
tell
about
you. No. Let me tell you one thing. I don't know which interviews that you have attended, but it's not like that.
it.
Okay, it's not like that.
I mean, in the JD, they are saying that the streaming wise, they need to gain the knowledge, Spark streaming
No,
and
I will
everything.
tell you. Almost 70%. I can say most of the. I'm seeing many projects, right? So majority of the projects are batch oriented. Okay, very less. You can say mine. The stream data processing. It's completely company to company. Okay, application to application. But these are not the higher side. Okay, that's my knowledge. So if you have a good knowledge in batch oriented projects, that is more than enough to crack an interview for big data. Okay.
Yeah, in the next week, can we one session can we go with respect to practical knowledge in the big data pipeline?
That's what. No, I'm. What should I do? Tell me. You people have to do. I just explain a scenario. You have to execute yourself. Okay. And I don't know. There are so many multiple. You can say inputs in Google. You can do anything. Okay.
Can you
But
share the one of the thing where we can get the information exactly? I mean, live data like project and all. Just
nobody
for
will give
coding.
you. See, nobody will give you
I
free
mean,
of cost.
it's not
Okay.
possible. But in case if it is there, in sense, if we not found, so
No,
we
no,
have found.
no. Let me tell you. Nobody will give ready-made. Okay, you have to enroll any course. If there are any providing such type of projects, and then you have to do it your own. Okay, but no projects are readily available for free of cost. Okay, if you want to do, you have to explore yourself and take any personal guidance, and then complete. But don't expect like you will get it from internet everything. Okay, so you have to just start first of all one by one. You start it. Okay, start working on this data ingestion part, then start working on data transformation part, then start working on connecting to the target systems like cloud, then load the data into S3 or load the data into somewhere in Oracle or SQL. Okay, MySQL database. So you have to divide these tasks as a you have to split a whole project in a different tasks. Then one by one you have to explore it. Once you complete all these tasks, then club it and write a shell script and run all those by triggering this shell script. Okay, just try to utilize the social media or YouTube or any Google. Definitely you will get some idea. And anyway, in class I'm explaining many real time stuff. Then if you have any questions, I will try to guide you. But please try to understand me that I'm also working, and I'm just spending only 1-2 hours in a week, and I won't get much time because I'm already fed up with many books like personal and official. So it's not practically possible for me to involve and give you step-by-step explanation. Okay, if that is so, definitely I would have conducted a sessions, right, for online sessions for some amount, right? But the session, why I'm giving a free because of you know to give you some real-time stuff. Okay, then based on this knowledge you have to explore yourself. If you have any questions, then anyway our platform is there, and you can discuss here. And also those who are experienced, you can also answer. It's not mean that I have to answer every question. No, if you have an answer for any question, if they are asking, then you can also ask. Okay, you can also answer it. There's no issue at all. Okay, this is a knowledge sharing session. This is not an online training session. Please try to understand. There is a difference. Okay, and anybody having very good experience or knowledge in any topic, welcome. You can also share your knowledge through this platform. Okay, if you don't have any question, then we are good to close.
Naresh, Ganesh here.
Ganesh?
Data preparation, you said for data science pipeline, you said data preparation, right? So as a data engineer, also do data preparation, right? What?
Yeah.
So what is the difference? Means it is interlinked. Means a data engineer data which we provide can use by data science person and for further analysis.
Yeah, correct. You see, there is a
Or
small difference. There's a small
yeah,
difference between this big data engineer and data scientist. Okay, their data preparation is not same as our data cleaning activities. Okay, you know, right?
yeah,
Let us say we have some elections in our country, and let us say we have 29 states and union territories, right? So they want to do some analysis by using the latest technology, and from which area, as a, let us say, but take one state, any like Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, some place, so who will win? Okay, then like that they want to do some survey. Okay, then they took all the survey reports from the people and taken the data and stored into in some area. Okay, in any. Then they asked us to, or they want to collect in real time from Twitter. Then we have to process those Twitter data by using Kafka and Spark Streaming, and then the filtered data, whatever they require, we want to place it into Amazon S3. From there, data scientists, what they will do, all the data is researched. Like each, there are let us say 29 files because of 29 states, and this 29 states, each state again based on the districts. Let us say one state having 30 districts. Okay, so 30 files again created and district name. Okay, and then what type of preparation is, first of all, this data scientist, they will check whether this file format, okay, is proper or not. Okay, that is one. Number two, what are the data inside that file? How many records got corrected? That may be the check. Okay, and number three, if there are any null values or blank values, what may be the appropriate value they have to replace it? That is number three, number four, and number three. And then they have to select which data. Like though we have a 29 states, but they have to take particular state and particular district, right? What type of data they have to take? That is based on the requirement, right? The business will or client will ask you to do analysis on this particular region, southern region or eastern region or northern region or western region. If there's something like that, then they will pick only let us say southern region. Karnataka they have selected. Okay, they want to do some analysis on Karnataka. Then they will pick the Karnataka data. This is called the data preparation. Right? They are preparing the data for train the models. Okay, they will pick the data from the Karnataka, and then they will divide this data into three steps, like train sets and test sets and validation sets. Then what they will do, they will train their model, then they will test their model by using test data, they will validate their model by using validated data. Okay, this is kind of preparation they will do before train the model. Got it?
Naresh, one suggestion, don't mind.
Yeah.
Can we get the topic for next week so we can go through that topic, and if we have any queries, then we can discuss.
You mean I want to give any topic or not?
Yeah, whatever topic you are going to take, that information if you provide before 1 day, 2 day.
And at the last week, somebody asked me to explain this data pipeline. That is the reason I just taken this topic. Otherwise, I would have explained differently.
Yeah, I'm the one.
Okay.
So this is I thought this is very important. And next week, what I'm thinking, I want to take one from the beginning, like how to create RDD, how to convert RDD to data frame, okay, and how to do some analysis or some data transformations in data frame, and again how to convert from data frame to RDD. That kind of stuff I want to explain. I'm just thinking it's not finalized. But if you people are expecting the same, let me know. I will try to take up that topic and explain in the next session.